The next morning, Yn descended the stairs, gently cradling her belly as her bare feet padded across the cool floor. She was still drowsy from sleep, expecting to find her parents alone at the breakfast table, but her steps froze when she spotted someone sitting with them. Jiwoo, Taehyung's mother. A frown tugged at Yn's face. It was unusually early for visitors. She was about to greet them when a single sentence rooted her to the spot. Jiwoo, Taehyung got someone pregnant. The words hit like a slap. Yn's breath caught. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. Adam? What? Are you serious? Who is the girl? Jiwoo. I don't know yet. That's why I'm here. I need to find her and convince her to abort the baby. A shiver ran through Yn. Her hand flew to her stomach on instinct. Sua, Jiwoo. What are you saying? Abort? That's a child we're talking about. Jiwoo. My son is only 20. A baby. That girl. They'll ruin everything. His dreams, his career, his entire future. Sua. But what if he loves her? What if they're serious about each other? You can't decide something like this without even knowing the full story. Jiwoo shake her head. Jiwoo. No, he doesn't love her, Adam. And how exactly do you know that? His voice stern. There was a pause. Jiwoo. Because, Taehyung, he's a playboy, she said hesitantly, voice cracking. The room fell into stunned silence. Adam. What? He shouted, rising to his feet, his voice thundering. Sua, gasp, covering her mouth. Sua. No, that can't be true. Adam? You're telling me your son's been using girls, playing with their hearts and walking away without consequences. Sua. We thought Taehyung was a polite, respectful boy. He was our pride. We trusted him. Disappointment echoed in her voice like a breaking mirror. Adam, unbelievable. And you let him carry on like this, he said, gritting his teeth. Jiwoo lowered her head, tears brimming. Jiwoo. I didn't know. Not until a few months ago. I overheard him talking with his friends, laughing about girls, bragging. I thought it was just immaturity, that he'd grow out of it. Adam. He's 20. Jiwoo. How long will you keep making excuses? You didn't raise a man, you raised a boy who thinks emotions are toys. Disgusting. He turned his face away, unable to mask his fury. Yn was still standing frozen in the hallway, breath shallow, eyes stinging. Then, Jiwoo's eyes landed on her. She called her softly. Jiwoo. Yn, I actually came to speak to you. You're his best friend, right? You must know something. Please, if you know who the girl is, tell me.Yn's lips parted, but no sound came. Sua. Why would she know? Don't drag my daughter into your mess, Jiwoo. Adam. Yes. This is your son's doing, not hers. Don't bring her into his sins. Jiwoo flinched at their words. Humiliated and overwhelmed, she stood up without another word, and left. Yn remained behind the wall, heart crumbling into silence, her secret still safe, but for how long?Yn's parents sit with her at the dining table. The atmosphere weighed down with unspoken thoughts. Plates are set, but none of them seem hungry. The clinking of spoons and cups are the only sounds until Adam finally speaks. Adam sigh heavily. Adam, I can't believe Jiwoo knew everything and still chose to stay silent. Sua. She knew Taehyung was playing with girls' hearts and didn't stop him. That's not parenting. That's negligence. Adam. She's spoiling him even more by covering up his mistakes, and now this talking about abortion like it's nothing. He slams his spoon down, the sound sharp and startling. Yn flinches a little. Adam turned to her. Adam, I don't want you hanging out with Taehyung anymore. Yn, not after everything we've heard. He's not the same boy we once knew. Sua, try to avoid him as much as possible, sweetheart. We just want to keep you safe. They both finally look at her and freeze.Yn's hands are trembling, her face pale, her eyes wide, almost glassy. Sua. Yn. What's wrong? Yn. I am not feeling well. Before either of them can respond, she pushes her chair back and bolts upstairs, nearly tripping over her own feet. The sound of her door slamming shut echoes down the hallway. Her parents remain seated, stunned and but not grasping the storm brewing inside their daughter. The silence at the breakfast table was suffocating. No clinking of cutlery, no idle chatter, just a heavy cloud of disappointment hanging above everyone's head. Jiwoo sat at the head of the table, her lips pressed tight, trying to hold back her frustration. Across from her, Taehyung stared blankly at the untouched food on his plate, his jaw clenched, eyes hollow. Finally, Jiwoo spoke, her voice strained. Jiwoo, Taehyung, How long do you plan to stay quiet? Just tell us. Who's the girl? No answer. She sigh. Jiwoo. At least say something. Still, nothing. Growing desperate, Jiwoo turned to her husband. Jiwoo. Minho, please say something to him. Minho had been sitting in silence the entire time, stiff, furious, disappointed. He finally looked up at his son with cold, unreadable eyes. The silence stretched like a blade between them. Minho, take responsibility. He spoke finally, voice like thunder. Everyone froze. Minho, I don't care who the girl is. I don't care if you love her or not. You got her pregnant. You take responsibility for her and the child. Jiwoo, what? Minho, what are you saying? He has a future ahead of him. Minho, so does the girl your dear son got pregnant. Or are you going to ignore her future just because she's not your child? He said without breaking eye contact with Taehyung. Jiwoo, you should think about our son first. Minho, I am thinking about him. You've spoiled him all these years. Jiwoo, letting him do whatever he wants, never facing consequences. That ends now. A sharp silence followed, thick with tension. Minho, Taehyung, are you ready to be a man? Taehyung slowly looked up, his eyes slightly red but determined. Taehyung, I am dad. I'll take care of her, and our baby. I'll give them a good life, I swear. Minho studied him for a long time, and then for the first time in what felt like years the edge of his mouth curved slightly. Minho, now, I can finally call you my son. Taehyung's throat tightened at those words, but Minho wasn't done. Minho, but you've disappointed me deeply. I raised you to respect people, not to break hearts for fun. Taehyung lowered his gaze, shame rushing through his veins. Taehyung, I know dad, I deserve everything. Give me any punishment. Minho stood slowly, his voice sharper now. Minho, from today, you earn your own living. No more free meals, no more pocket money. You learn what responsibility feels like. Jiwoo, Minho, that's too much. You can't just abandon our son like this. Minho, and one more thing, you'll personally apologize to every girl you've messed with. You don't get to just move on like nothing happened. Taehyung, I will. I'll apologize. I'll face them all. I'll fix what I can, and protect what's mine, he said, nodding, voice breaking. Minho gave him one last long look, proud but pained, before walking away. Jiwoo sat in stunned silence, and Taehyung, he sat quietly, swallowing the bitter truth of his new life. Yn sits beside Taehyung on the lakeside bench, hands trembling in her lap, her face is pale. Yn, they'll find out soon. Taehyung, everything. What will happen then? Everything will be destroyed. Taehyung, nothing will happen. Stop panicking, please. Yn, how can you say that? Aunt Jiwoo came today. She wants to know who the mother is. She said she wants to abort our baby. Taehyung, he clenching fists and look at her eyes. Taehyung, she won't. Dad already made things clear. Yn, and what about when they find out it's me? My parents already hate what you've done, how you played with girls. They're disappointed. Taehyung, they told me to stay away from you. She looks at him, eyes brimming with fear and despair. Yn, do you realize what will happen when they learn I'm the girl? Taehyung, just think positive. Yn, please, you'll get sick like this. They'll accept us someday. I know they will. Yn shake her head, her voice cracked. Yn, they won't. Taehyung, they never will. We're cousins, blood related. Oh God, what have we done? Her breathing turns shallow, her shoulders tremble violently. Yn, this is a sin. Her voice come out like a broken whisper. Taehyung quickly kneels in front of her, grabbing her icy hands in his warm palms. Taehyung, hey, calm down. Look at me. Yn, I can't breathe. How could I fall for my own cousin? I'm disgusting. Her tears fall like a storm, soaking her dress. Taehyung watches her break, heart sinking. Yn, what's going to happen now? Taehyung, Yn, please. Yn, it's all wrong. I wish I could undo it. Taehyung, stop it. We're not actually cousins, he said, suddenly frustrated, eyes flashing. Silence. Yn freezes, her sobs fading as she stares at him in shock. What did you say? Taehyung sighs deeply, avoiding her gaze. Taehyung, we're not blood related, okay? Yn, I don't understand. Taehyung takes a shaky breath, he cups her tear-streaked face, thumbs brushing away what he can. Taehyung, Yn you? He stopped seeing her shiny eyes. He knows how much she loves her parents. It will break her badly if she gets to know the truth. He doesn't want to hurt her more. Taehyung, actually I'm adopted. YN blinks slowly, her mind still swirling in the storm of everything she'd just heard. Her stomach churned, her hands ice cold. Taehyung watched her closely, his voice barely above a whisper. Taehyung, I'm adopted. YN, I thought you should know. The silence that followed was thick, like the world had paused for her to catch her breath. Her eyes widened, and for a moment, she looked almost afraid to believe it. YN, you're what? He nodded, lips pressed into a careful line. Taehyung, Mom and Dad, they took me in when I was a baby, that's why. Things feel so complicated. YN covered her mouth with her hand, her voice cracked. YN, no Taehyung, I had no idea, you never said anything before. She slowly stands up from the bench and stumbled a little. Taehyung also stands straight from him, knees. YN, so that's why Aunt Jiwoo always treated you differently. He didn't answer, just lowered his gaze, letting her fill in the blanks. YN, I'm so sorry. All this time I thought I was the problem. I thought I hurt everyone by being close to you. She looked up at him, guilt etched in every inch of her face. YN, but you were hurting too. Taehyung clenched his jaw to hold himself together. It was working. His lie had softened the blow, had pulled the guilt away from her and into him instead, but it killed him to see her like this. Taehyung, it doesn't matter anymore. I just didn't want you to carry the weight of this mess. You don't deserve that. YN's eyes filled with tears again, but this time it wasn't for her, it was for him. She slowly took his hand. YN, I wish I could take away your pain, Taehyung. I wish I knew sooner. He forced a small smile. Taehyung, maybe it's better that you didn't. YN took a trembling step forward, her fingers still curled around his. Then, wordlessly, she wrapped her arms around him, her face pressed against his chest, and his arms came around her in return, slow, protective, like he was afraid she might break. She held him tightly. YN, you shouldn't have carried this alone. Taehyung, I'd carry 1,000 lies if it meant you wouldn't cry. He felt her tight in her grip, as if trying to sink into him to hide from the world. A long silence passed before he gently pulled back just enough to look her in the eyes. His palms rested on her cheeks now, thumbs brushing her tear trails. Taehyung, YN, we can't hide anymore. She blinked at him, confused and scared. YN, hide what? His gaze dropped briefly to her belly, then back to her eyes. Taehyung, everything, us, the baby. She froze. Taehyung, we love each other, and we're going to be parents. They deserve to know. You deserve to stop living in fear. YN, but they'll hate us. They'll hate me, Taehyung. No, they might be angry, hurt, but they love you, YN, and I won't let anyone shame you for loving me. He cupped her face again, voice trembling slightly. Taehyung, I'll take responsibility, all of it, if I have to, but I want to do this right. No more hiding, please. YN hesitated, her hand slid down to rest over her stomach. YN, you'll stay with me, no matter what they say. Taehyung, always. She took a shaky breath, and slowly nodded. YN, then let's do it. Let's tell them. Sua turned her head at the sound of the door opening. Her eyes widened the moment she saw her daughter entering the house with Taehyung. She rushed forward, her voice rising with worry and relief. Sua, YN, where were you? Do you have any idea how worried we? She stopped abruptly, her eyes dropped to their joined hands, fingers tightly laced, her breath caught. Sua, what is this? She looked back and forth between them, confusion etched deep into her expression, slowly turning into dread. Before YN could speak, Jiwoo walked into the room, voice sharp and expectant. Jiwoo, Taehyung, why did you call me here? What important thing you want to say? She cut herself off when she noticed the scene, her brows furrowed. Taehyung, where's Dad? Jiwoo, he went to the office. And then Adam entered the living room, adjusting his watch. His eyes fell on the unusual gathering. He froze, his gaze settled on YN and Taehyung standing too close, too quiet, too connected. Taehyung straightened his shoulders, but his voice cracked slightly as he spoke. Taehyung, we want to tell you something. His hand gripped YN's tighter. She squeezed back, both trembling, every heartbeat like thunder in their ears. He took a breath, a long, trembling breath. Taehyung, me and YN, we love each other. A pin drop silence. Taehyung, and we're expecting a baby. The room stood still. Sua's lips parted in disbelief. Jiwoo looked like the ground had slipped from under her. Adam's face darkened with a storm of emotion, shock, anger, betrayal. Yen's eyes were already glossing with tears. No one moved. No one spoke. Just silence, until Adam stormed forward like a raging storm, fury etched into every line of his face. Without a word, he shoved Taehyung hard, making him stumble backward and release Yen's hand. Adam grabbed Taehyung's collar. Adam, you bastard, you didn't even spare my daughter? How dare you play with her innocence, with her life? His fist clenched, ready to strike, but just as he was about to throw the punch, Yen rushed behind him and hugged him tightly, her voice shaking as it escaped her throat. Yen, please, Dad, don't. I love him. Adam froze, his breath caught in his chest as if someone had knocked the air out of him. He slowly turned, his eyes filled with disbelief and betrayal. Before he could respond, Jiwoo stepped in, her heels echoing on the floor like thunder. Jiwoo, oh, of course, blame only my son, but what about your precious daughter, huh? Yen was always jealous of Taehyung's success. I wouldn't be surprised if she seduced him, got herself pregnant to ruin his future. Sua, Jiwoo, mind your tongue, they're just kids, don't say such poison without thinking. Adam slowly peeled Yen's hands off him, turning fully to face her. Adam, tell me the truth, what did he do to you? Did he force you? Is he blackmailing you? Yen shook her head, tears brimming in her eyes. Yen, no Dad, he didn't do anything, we love each other. Jiwoo scoffed and marched toward her, roughly grabbing her by the shoulders. Jiwoo, didn't you feel any shame saying that? He's your cousin, for God's sake. Disgusting, shameless girl. Yen's entire body trembled. These were the words she had feared for so long, the rejection, the shame, the humiliation. Her voice caught in her throat as her tears finally spilled. But just as her knees gave in, Taehyung rushed to her, wrapping his arms protectively around her. The moment his warmth surrounded her, Yen felt just a flicker of strength, like, maybe, she wasn't entirely alone. Jiwoo, tell me, Yen, didn't it once cross your mind that you were sleeping with your own cousin, or were you too blinded by your pathetic so-called love? Yen's breathing became ragged, her nails digging into Taehyung's shirt as she broke into uncontrollable sobs. But this time, she wasn't going to stay silent. She lifted her head and whispered, Yen, we're not actually cousins. Taehyung is adopted, right? The room fell dead silent. Taehyung stiffened, eyes wide, his heart stuttering in his chest. He hadn't expected her to say it, not now, not like this. Then, Jiwoo burst into laughter, not amused, laughter bitter, mocking, cruel. Jiwoo, what did you just say? My son, adopted? Poor foolish girl, it's you who's adopted, not my son. Sua, Jiwoo, her voice came out low, almost pleading. Jiwoo turned toward her, confused. Jiwoo, what? Are you going to take her side now? After all this? Sua, that's enough. Yen slowly turned her head, heart pounding in her ears. Yen, mom, what does she mean? Jiwoo, I mean you don't belong here. My brother and his wife adopt you. Sua, don't say another word. Yen, mom. Sua closed her eyes, as if gathering strength. Then she turned to Yen, her voice breaking. Sua, Yen, honey, you were only a few months old when we brought you home. We were going to tell you when you were older, when the time was right. Yen stared at her mother. No, the woman she thought was her mother, unable to process the words. Her knees buckled. Taehyung caught her in time, his arms wrapping around her protectively. Yen, no, this isn't real. I'm your daughter. You always said I was your little miracle. Sua, you are our daughter. Nothing changes that. You're our miracle. You were chosen, loved, raised as our own. Jiwoo, stop the drama. You guys don't have to give this orphan girl any explanation. You already give her home and food. Sua glared at her. Right now she just wanted to give a hard slap on Jiwoo's face. Adam, Jiwoo, enough. You've said more than enough. Yen stumbled back, dizzy, like the world beneath her had cracked wide open. Tears spilled from Yen's eyes uncontrollably now. Yen, so it's true. All this time, I didn't know who I really was. Sua, we should have told her the truth sooner. But we were afraid she'd feel like she didn't belong. Yen's lips trembled. Yen, all I ever wanted was to belong. Taehyung pulled her closer. Taehyung, you belong with me, always. Jiwoo, poor orphan girl just got to know her truth. She sneered, her voice like venom. Sua, she's not an orphan, she yelled, her voice cracking. The room fell silent for a beat. Suo was trembling, eyes blazing with fury, chest heaving with each breath. But Jiwoo wasn't done. Jiwoo, oh, you're right, she's not an orphan. Maybe her parents threw her away. Maybe she's the filthy product of some sinful affair, an illegal child, unwanted, unloved. Taehyung, Mom, stop. His voice shook the room, full of desperation. Taehyung, please, just stop. But Jiwoo didn't stop. Her words kept falling like shards of glass. Jiwoo, tell me, Taehyung, what future do you see with her? This girl, this nobody, you think she'll give you anything but shame. She used you. She clung to you like a leech. What do you expect from someone with no real blood, no real name? Adam's fists clenched, his teeth gritted. Adam, one more word and I swear to God, Jiwoo. He was ready to hit her. The tension was a wire pulled to tight. Taehyung's hands were shaking as he knelt beside Yn, who had gone deathly pale. Her breath came in short, broken gasps. Jiwoo's words weren't just insults, they were knives, slicing her open in front of the people she once called family. Yn's legs buckled. Her hands clutched Taehyung's shirt weakly as her vision blurred. Yn, make it stop, please, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Suddenly, her eyes rolled back and her body collapsed like a puppet cut from strings. Taehyung panicked. Taehyung, Yn. He caught her before she hit the ground, holding her tightly, voice cracking with fear. Taehyung, call a doctor, now. Suo rushed forward. Suo, Yn, baby, open your eyes please. Adam didn't speak, his fists were still clenched, but now his eyes were fixed on Jiwoo with a different kind of fury. Not just anger but disgust. Adam, look at what you've done, he growled, and for the first time, Jiwoo looked unsure.